Hey!
Have some of those apples.
That worked. We had sound.
Was there sound this time? That's awesome. I'm rather pleased with myself, actually.
Good stuff.
I have to cut off every kind of intro and things. It's so confusing, and I'm just too pretty for all this sort of bollocks. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is the New Year's Eve edition of the Ideal Home Show. Thank you very much for joining us. As you'll see, we are a little bit on the sparse side this evening. 50% of us have gone off to do other things. Essentially, John has gone to his castle. He needs to check on grounds. He needs to check on his gamekeeper. And there's all manner of things going on there. And also there's been talk of Big J scoping the grounds for a break-in at night while everyone's pissed on sherry. But so I think he's getting that sorted out. And Craig has dug out his best medallion. He's trimmed his wig hair, his chest hair, sorry, and he's going out on the lash. I believe he's doing the full mashings tonight this evening. So those guys can't be with us. However, we have got a couple of guests to bring on. Now there comes to a point. You have heroes in this world. You have heroes, and you kind of hope that when you meet them, they'll be pretty good. And then other times you just meet some random old shit, and you say, "Come on the show. That'll be fine." I would like you all to welcome our cohorts from across the water. And this evening we've got Angsty and Sean from the Plumes of Hazard.
They're muted.
I didn't do it.
It's a good thing I like you guys, because otherwise I would have sat up and done like the squat thing that I just did. That's the most exercise I've had all day.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that. I would like to say the reason why I can't do that is because they've locked me and chained me to this desk until I finish this guest. So
That's actually not true.
Get
so,
up.
I had to lift my garage door today. So I've got this giant garage door, and the springs went. And when I got back from my trip, it weighs about 150 pounds or something, and I had to lift it up, and I was up there just holding it while my wife was, unloading the car and stuff from our big trip. So I've actually had quite a bit of a little exercise today, unlike normal.
Nice, good work. And you've beat the Hulk and talked about it on the interweb with our gazillion viewers. So now you've got women swooning and snail trails left across the nation. You holding up garage doors.
That is the first time that I've been on a live show, including my own, where I have had the word snail trails used in a sentence.
Right, so let's kick things off, shall we? Let's have a little look, see what we're vaping on tonight. Rick, how about you starting, my man?
Yeah, I'm vaping on usual the Cryos on an SX350J with my Voodoo Brew homebrew juice in it. Standard.
Lovely. What flavour homebrew?
Eh?
What flavour homebrew?
What flavour? It's strawberry, peach, apple, menthol.
No.
Yeah, very nice.
That's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just my favourite. I sort of just like it, love it. Tweaked it over the years, and it's my all dayer.
You tried that? There's a fuck ton of flavours in there.
Yeah, I've tried those. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're alright. That one specifically, if it wasn't for that fucking face on the bottle, it'd be better.
It'd probably sell for more money if it didn't have that face on the bottle.
Oh, I'm sure.
What else? I've got what one is this? The Zephyrus on a new mod that I've made. Got a nice mod. Got time to make something the last couple of days. And in that I have got mango yogurt, and I have got the Bellis, another new one. We'll talk about it a bit later. I don't know what I've got in actually.
That Zephyrus, is it the first one, or there's two of them, isn't there?
I don't know. I got it Black Friday. Bought a load of Atties from Best. and they finally turned up the other day. So, but no, in that I've got the same. I've got my Voodoo Brew in there again. What about you guys over there?
Angsty?
Me, I've got the mini e-cig. If you watch our show, I call this the tosser stick because it's the people that make it are a bunch of wankers, but the mod itself is really good. I've got a bell-capped Hurricane in here, and in there I've got one of these. This is.
That's got a nice face on it. That one.
This is Abolished Mint, which is a personal favorite of mine. Because I made it. The JMFD has got Snapdragon. I just realized I've got a very multicultural atomizer thing going on. I've got Swiss. I've got a Brit-made Snapdragon here, and in here I've got way up here, which you just saw just a moment ago. I've got an American whole setup here. I guess I've got the SX Flask or the Flask, which is what I call it. In the on top we've got an M-Addy, and in there is Labrat Liquids Red Rhapsody, and here. My personal favorite little monkey. This is the Mast Mods Micro. Hashtag no, you can't have one on there. I've got another Brit atomizer. This is an Uber Toot. Inside is Brasberry Mint. And actually, just saying that, I just realized I did a forfeit talking about Brasberry Mint like a year ago. Didn't say for vapors. I should go dig that up. That was pretty funny. Anyway, that's what I've got.
What batteries are in that one, Brian? I quite like the look of that little mod.
It's a little dual lipo pack. Lipo pack. Little tiny guys. That's 1300 mAh. 1300 mAh. Little Mytech switch. DNA 40 works.
I might have to make a little boy like that.
You should. You should. It's fabulous. It's my favorite mod, but that's because Masty made it, and I love him to death. So.
And it's pretty much the only one ever made.
It is. Oh, it's locked. There we go. All right, good. That's what I got.
Very nice too. Sean, what about you?
So I have a little bit of US and a little bit of UK going on with this one. I have a Snapdragon version 1 with the Axis DNA 200 mod that's made here in the US. Not at all using it to its potential. At a solid 23 watts. With this juice with this that dude's face on it.
Nice.
And I also have a tosser stick, but I have a Cloud 1 in there, and I have the one with that other dude who's in here's facing it on there. And that's really all I got today. Oh, that's not true, actually. I have the SX Vapor Flask with the Origin with some derailment by our friend Chucky Finn, which is a really good graham cracker.
Cinnamon graham cracker, teddy bear sort of thing.
I'm still not sure I know what a graham cracker is, to be honest with you.
It's like a digestive, sort of, right?
Okay.
It's like a not very sweet cracker or cookie. It's somewhere between a cracker and a cookie. It's not very sweet.
It
sounds like a digestive to me, yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's probably the best explanation I could think of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to try some of that stuff soon. Apparently, it's pretty nice.
It's nice. I killed my bottle while I was gone on my trip.
Yeah. Clean too, isn't it?
Quite. You'd think not. I mean, it's a bakery, but it's not terribly sweet. So it's got like a lot of rich like the baked flavor of something that's been toasted, but it's not like overly sweet. Just like a graham cracker is not overly sweet. It's got a little cinnamon and stuff in it too. And it looks quite dark, but it vapes quite clean.
Okay.
I like to call it the bakery flavor for people who don't really know that they might like a bakery flavor because it's not super sweet like a lot of bakeries. It's just very, very light and very good.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Well, I am usually on my normal stuff that I can't remember I can't figure out what to use, so I use a whole fuck ton of stuff. And I have got stuff from all over
the fuck word there.
Did I? Yeah. If you're playing the game, have a drink.
Oh, someone just said fuck? You shouldn't say fuck.
No, well, if you say fuck, then you fucked. You have to drink.
Oh, so everybody has to fucking drink a lot then.
Mm. If you say cunt, you have to drink the whole thing that's in the glass.
I don't think see, the problem is Americans like us can't get away with that word.
No.
Well, maybe we should have an equivalent word. What's the equivalent disgusting word you'd say in the States?
I don't think we need to go there, really.
Let's get there.
Not that we can really improve on cunt, but there you go. Right, what we got going on? So, first off, tonight I'm wearing, thanks to a very, very wonderful troll that I had on one of my reviews. One lovely chap decided to have a proper go, and started his trolling off. When I would do my comparison of the RX and the DNA 200 rouleau, he was saying, "What's the point? They're the same except the colour and the screen size and the positive terminal. But why even go there? You're mincing about like a big gay bear. Give us info or give it up." And then he just got all excitable and told me I was about it. So essentially, I mean, me being polite, I said, "Yeah, you know, thanks very much for your input. That was very sweet of you, and thanks for the idea of a T-shirt." So yeah, we are mincing about like a great big bear. So that's absolutely the future.
I mean, that sounds like you on a really semi-daily basis, personally.
Yeah, hi. Oh, I love that stuff. It makes me happy. But no, what am I vaping on? Well, I have got my M-Vapes Squonker, because whilst I love my Darwin Squonker to pieces, this was the one that got me into squonking at the start of this year, which is not the start, middle of this year, which fulfilled what I wanted from squonking. So I thought it only right to use it tonight because I love it. And on top of that, I've got a troll that Matt at M-Vapes makes with the pardon me, bottom feed pin as well. And in there I've got Grumpy Juice Gingerbread Roulé. I have the Fogging Sailor with a Sapor on it, with Lushington. I have the Titan with the mini Buddha on it. With I've moved away from you guys for a little while, and I've got this good-looking fella. So I'm enjoying him quite a lot. And something that I'm going to talk about later on, which I think is pretty cool. I got sent a couple of different mods this week, a few days ago. One of which was the Kanga 200, which is their new box.
Nasty buttons.
Hey?
Nasty buttons.
They're not the cleverest. And I will go into this a little bit later, possibly. But let me have a little look here and show you the old screen. The screen's quite pleasant. I don't really get red buttons, to be honest with you.
Well, it's Kangaroo. They kind of have to, right?
Well, yeah. What I really don't get, is the battery cover. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Can I finger my hands in the way? See that moving around like a good one?
Yeah.
That is because there's no magnets or anything holding it on. It's just kind of like pressed it on with those thingamajigs.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Even the Subox kit with the magnets still does that.
Well, yeah. So, you know, just for shits and giggles, I've got the Velocity on there with Grumpy Custard in it. But the one that really did me was the K-Box Mini, which they've also called the Top Box Mini for some reason. Now, if I hold this up, have I got anything I can hold it up to? You might be able to see.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Like a little Hammond lean going on.
Yeah, that's not really what you'd call kind of a straight kind of mod. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, what is...
What
is that reason thing? What is it?
Hold you the fuck on. I will show you. Right. If we talk about... if I show you that there for a second. Hang you on. Now, you can't quite see... No, you can't see at all. But there's a hoof and grate gap under here.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't really coming through. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see it. There we go.
Yeah.
So, but it's not at the front, but it is at the back, which I think is cool. And also this here. What's going on here then?
Okay.
Now that, even when you push this battery thing right up, you can see it still has a gap, but it moves. It moves. There is nothing going on there whatsoever. But what happens is essentially you can see that this top piece is on the piss, ever so slightly. So obviously it's kind of
it's quite noticeable. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. It looks pretty normal to me.
Yeah, I think because you buy high-end mods, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, that looks straight.
But yeah, so that's interesting. Now, obviously, I'm using them to get ready for a review and what have you. But this is not really. I'm going to be testing this one. There's only a few that I get a real kind of urge to try and test to find out if they're putting out what they say they're putting out. The 100-watt eye stick, I think, was the last one I did that really didn't feel anywhere close, and kind of I showed that to the best of my ability. This I'm going to do a similar thing with, as with what equipment I can lay my hands on or what I've got. I'm running this in temp mode at the minute, and I think I'm going to call this some kind of like clitoral stimulator with the way it bends. I'm not entirely sure.
Can't you bend it back? It's obviously the 510.
Yeah,
Take
right.
to the one of those sub tanks and smash it over a bit.
Do you think I really need to hit things to break them? So this is kind of, it's an interesting one. I'm rocking it in temperature mode with the temp coil in this tank. Now I've never had a sub tank before, and this is pretty much the reason why. I do not and cannot understand in any way why people use sub tanks. If this is what they're all like, I don't get why people use them at vape fests and cons and all that sort of stuff in their juice testers. I don't get it, because the taste is shit.
I don't know if that's right or not, really. I think they're not. I think they're pretty good. They're all right, in my opinion.
Now, it might be because I've got this nickel coil in there, to be fair. So I've got some regular coils to put in as well and check it out.
Handful and stuff. I think you'll be surprised. I mean, it's not an airy draw, but give it 25, 30 watts.
Yeah.
Quite flavoursome, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the minute I've got, what am I on? 75 watts at 420 Fahrenheit, 0.28 coil. And it's the most underwhelming. It's just not doing anything for me. The airflow is reasonably smooth, but the taste is shit. There's not enough airflow. The drip tip makes me want to vomit. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. But that's annoying thing is, what I really like about it is the fact that it's this kind of, it's like a brushed finish that's been lacquered over.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's super shiny, but not kind of a mega kind of fingerprint magnet, if you like.
Oh.
It looks like a nice mod. What is it?
Yeah?
What is it again?
Kanga.
It looks like a nice body. If that was straight.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, they've got like the 4 magnets on their metal cover and stuff, and they're just weak, like proper weak. But no, other than that, I'm looking for the positives, and the positives are, I imagine it's going to be cheap. It looks pretty as long as it's straight, and it vapes.
That's always a bonus.
So I've got to really try. I haven't really used the temperature control stuff other than in the knee box from Kanga, so I'm going to give it a good old go and find out what's what. But yeah, I think it's which one do you go for?
At least that was done on purpose, right?
Yeah. So that's it with me. It's generally stash. What have I got? I've got Dark Star and something. Oh, it's in here. So yeah, stash, grumpy juice, and a little bit of poo juice, which is all right. It's not bad at all. Right, so if we have a little look at the news, what we're going to do tonight, guys, is we're going to go through a few sort of subjects that we've seen floating around. We're going to have a chat about a couple of bits and bobs that we've got, which I've kind of started already, and then we're going to have a bit of a free thinking, like think free running, but spiritually. And we're going to have a little look and see what people's thoughts are about a few bits and pieces that have been happening over this last year and coming up that hasn't been included in either of the show's top 10s or top 3s or 5s or whatever they were. So I'm going to kick off just with the fact that the mini vault that you guys talked about in the show the other night, yeah, that I ordered. It should have been with me yesterday, but that was pushing the retailer to send it out on Tuesday, and so he very kindly made sure it was sent out yesterday. And the postman this morning was very kind not to knock when he tried to deliver it, so he sent me a nice little red card. And I literally drove around for an hour and a half to try and find him, so I could get the mod off him, and couldn't find him. spoke to the nice little people in the post office, and they went, yeah, well, we'll try and get him and drop it off when he comes back at lunchtime. Yeah, that didn't happen either. So, yeah, mortified I was.
Yeah. So one of the guys watching the show sent me a link of where one was in stock. So I actually ordered it Monday night. Mine's not going to be here till Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
Sadly. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to it. It's adorably small. Hopefully, it's gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a chap I know who I think is in chat, John, who is I did used to think of him as a really nice guy until today. He just started posting pictures up of the mini vault just to wind me up, I swear of it. So I think he's I think he's a wanker now, to be honest with you. But no, so that's that. I mean, I've got a couple of other bits and bobs as well, but we can have a little play around. So, Rick, have you got anything?
Don't know. I got some new kitchen roll today.
Oh, it's the new kitchen roll.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat's asking what we're talking about there. I've got a picture here of the thing.
Oh, we did have.
Wrong button.
What, do we want some mod making news, do we?
Yeah, but just yeah, anything you got to talk about? Yeah, we've got we'll have a chat about developments in mod making and what have you. But if you know anything news.
Well, the Yeehee version 2 SX350J is nearly upon us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have them. They're being sent to me on the 4th, so give it a week and a half, and they're going to be here.
A week and a half.
I thought they'd take longer. They've actually said they'd be mid-December, didn't they? But they put that back to Christmas, and then just before Christmas I got a message from them and sent them loads of money, and I've got some coming. So brilliant. So I can't wait to get hold of those.
That'll be very, very cool. Do we know any more about the like the computer side of things? Have they expanded on that, whether it's going to be Mac compatible and all that sort of business yet?
I really don't know at all about that. I think it's always been only Windows, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's in the past it has, yeah.
Yeah. I think you just got to throw that Mac away, Dean, and get a Windows computer, mate. Really.
I would just like to say, Brian, is this the first time that you've ever done something live before and had to pull up a picture?
It's not. This is something that I touched my mouse and went backwards, and I had to rejoin the Hangout. So this is what we're talking about. This is the mini Volt by the Council of Vapor. Now they put out some weird things. Council of Vapor have, but this one in particular looks kind of cool. I've just looked at their atomizers before, and this one looks a lot less weird. It just looks really tiny. So I know we're on a Brit show. This is a quarter. This is maybe slightly larger than your pound coin, but it is really, it's a tiny little thing. 40 watts. I don't think it does temperature control if I remember right, or temperature limiting. Yeah, this little thing. This is tiny little lipo in it. And by the way, somebody mentioned that the carbon fiber stickers are pig disgusting. They are in general, but apparently this is not one of them. Apparently this is quote unquote real carbon fiber. Now it's probably made cheap.
One of the things that gets me about that is the screen. If you pop that picture up again.
Oh sure.
The screen looks completely unprotected from all of the condensation and everything else that gathers from a.
No. All right, hold on. Just a few months ago, this was a $300-$400 mod.
Yeah.
No protection, just a screen on top.
Yeah. I think that's a slightly different ball game, isn't it?
Then you've got where was the other one? There it is. There's the old tosser stick. No protection.
That's underneath.
That's underneath. We're thinking about juice.
Underneath. You set this down on your bar mat or at the bar or whatever, the pub. Excuse me. It's gonna just wick that shit right up. I haven't had a problem with this one. The only thing that was really bad about the old flask is it was less condensation and more. It just you get a little bit of just a little bit of the VG residue, and then it would attract dust. Then you got and they were like cotton bud or whatever you guys call them, and you gotta get it out of there. So that's not cool. Now the newer the Flash SXs do have little.
Oh, it's got a screen protector on it.
Yeah, it does. As well it should. Now, if you've got a flask one. J-Wraps. J-Wraps sells a little top clear protector guide, which goes right over. So if you get it nice and clean, put that little thing over it. It's like $1. It's super cheap. You can do that. Yeah, there you go.
Or the SX one has a screen protector built onto it.
I've already showed that. It was right there.
It's like every Monday. I don't pay that much attention to you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But no, it looks an interesting little mod for what it is.
Yeah. It was $29. I mean, it could suck pretty hard and function okay, and it'd probably be worth $29. Now you guys I'm sure get boned a little bit on that. Yours is probably 28 pounds or something, but
26.
there you go.
But no, it looks good. I mean, the thing is, the only comparison is that little thing from GearBest that people are having at the minute, which is a tiny bit smaller. That little thing.
The little Bama one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy with the little single 350 in it.
Yeah.
Pretty cute. Masty's got one of those.
Yes.
But those guys, that's then you're limited to about 700 mAh.
Yeah.
Which obviously you can change them out real quick, but a 350 also you never quite get all of 700 mAh. That's something, do you? The little rechargeable guys. So lipos tend to last life-wise a little bit longer, even with the same milliamp hour ratings, because you can tax them a little bit more, it seems like. But so I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure I'll be talking about it. I'm sure you will be talking about it whenever we lay our hands on them anyway.
I was just super excited I was going to beat you and get it first. No, get it first and talk about it on the show.
Have it tomorrow.
No, tomorrow. Only get mine on Saturday. New Year's Day, bank holiday.
There you go. Oh, thank you for pointing that out, Rick. I lost my lower third when I left the stinking hangout.
At this point, and I think we've touched on this a few times. I don't know if you guys have. At this point, though, it's not necessarily just your mAh; it's your watt hours.
Yes.
I think we've finally come into a point in vaping where we can reasonably say, watt hours is what we should be judging.
Yes.
Yeah, mAh is very confuses things, doesn't it? Really, people get in all sorts of pickles about regulated mods and mAh of lipos.
Perfect example is this guy, right? This Axis. It's 1100 mAh. 1100 mAh DNA 200, but to get that 1100 mAh, it's 3 1100 mAh lipo packs together firing at 11 point whatever volts. So your watt hours are I think it's 22 point something watt hours.
Yeah.
In comparison to, I mean, a normal 1100 mAh battery is not lasting this long. This lasts more equivalent to 3300.
Right.
That's sort of the rough way of working it out, isn't it? If you've got a regulated mod and you vape at 40 watts and you've got 2 3000 mAh 18650s, and you compare that to a lipo that's got 3S 1000 mAh, you can sort of work out roughly that 2 18650s will be 6000 mAh. I knew it'd be here. I told you it'd be back.
You're right.
Why could he?
Welcome, Craig.
Hello.
I told you he'd get fed up with being out.
He can't cope with all them young people at the pub, that's what it is.
I've just told them because they're pretty nearby, and I said I'll be back in a bit, and just thought, fuck it, I'm going back for a minute.
Oh, wow, that bad, huh? Holy shit.
Does that
I
mean
was watching on my phone at the pub, and it's just a fucking train wreck.
does this mean we can kick one of the Americans off now?
No, that's great. Because I've got full call to say. I've just come on, really. Oh, Angsty's already gone.
No, I was joking.
But no, we've just been talking, Craig, about the mini vault, because mine should have come today and it didn't. And I think me and Sean are going to be getting them on that. No, Brian are going to be getting them on the same day, on Saturday, so we can have another look into them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just having a little chat about stuff at the minute. Is there anything else you want to say about the mini vault before we move on, Brian?
No, not yet. Not until I lay my hands on it. I think it looks pretty cool. Supposedly the carbon fiber is real. I'm sure it's made cheap as chips, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to function properly. Apparently the power button can be a little wonky. One of the viewers mentioned that to me, that he really likes it, but you might need to wobble that around. The 510 does look quite wonky, but again,
510 looks 4 years old.
It's $28.
But it
Which means
looks
it's-
like an Avid 510 that's 4 years old.
Yeah, honestly, including the 510, it looks a lot like this the little i640, right? I mean, it's got the same cheapo little 510, and honestly, if it functions like it's supposed to function, and it looks a lot smarter than this doesn't look bad, but
To be fair, though, if it had a decent 510, it'd double the price, and that kind of defeats the point, doesn't
it may.
it? So,
But yeah, so that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to getting that. I built like a 1.4 coil in my Serpent ready for it.
Attaboy.
I'm super excited.
I'm gonna pick one of those things up, I think.
Aye.
Sure.
Rick, you were saying about the Yeehee thing whilst Angsty was off air. That's coming out. When was it? Next week? Week after, you say?
They're sending me some on the 4th of January, and it'll be fast, so it'll be 3 days, and I'll have them. So I don't know what day that will be next in the new year, but around the 7th, I'll get them. So
so before Cloudmaker then.
Dan, we'll come to that in a minute. We'll come to we ain't got there yet.
Hey.
way before Cloudmaker. But no, I can't wait to get hold of one because our friend who we showed his mods the other day, and you'll be interested in this, Craig. He's got some ready. He wants some straight away, so we should have some nice little Stabwood mods on the way over from Daniel,
Oh yeah.
Germany.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I have seen that Daniel's started looking at as well, and I'm actually tempted to ask him if I can have another at some point. He's doing some Raffair ones that are really beautiful. So, and I'm a big fan of Raffair. So,
High coloured, weren't they? They're really vibrant colours on those.
yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different types that you can get, because you can get spiky, which is like the old black roses, and then the newer ones use like more of a sheep Raffair. But he's doing some with more of like a bit of a sheep type one. So, yeah, I'll dig some pics out of the actual Blokes, Dina.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Dina,
I'll
I want to circle back real quick with you, just in reference to your Cloudmaker comment, and remind you that it'll just be a few more days.
Yeah, no way. Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Have you got anything new that you want to mention, Craig? I can't remember if you got anything this week or not, mate.
Fuck all. Absolutely fuck all. I've got a black serpent on the way from the guys down at Vapor Jacks. Thank you, James, for sorting out the confusion earlier with the Manquitos or whatever, Maniquito or the
Manquitos.
The Manquitos or whatever it was. The pink Castigador, because somebody thought that it was a clone, and it's not a
It's
clone.
not.
So
They made the pink ones, and they made another color. Was it green?
I think it was. Yeah, like, there was a greenie or a goldy. Yeah, the gold one. Yeah, but the design on the third one, the goldish one, was a bit crap, wasn't it? It was kind of a bit weak. Apparently, there's a 4th version that's going to be coming out at some point soon. So there's going to be another one on the way, which is blue, apparently.
All right.
Yeah, it's a really nice deep blue with like pyramids on it. So for all you Illuminatis, and there you go. So
I did see there's a guy whose name I really can't remember, and I'm gutted about that. But I'll try and point it out for next week's show. But there's a guy that does carvings and stuff on mods, and he sort of engraves them, and he does it all by hand. And he did a Castigador not so long ago, and it's just full of this kind of not paisley, but that kind of fleur-de-lis and fucking all that sort of shit. And it's fucking gorgeous. It's really nice.
I've got a couple of new tanks this week.
Go on, Sunshine. What you got?
Well, just to get away from high-end stuff, get back to the tank.
Roots, man.
Black Friday. How long? When was Black Friday? I can't remember now. What date is Black Friday?
it was Friday.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, it was a Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Day after Thanksgiving. That's helpful. That. Well
What's
done.
that happening? When's Thanksgiving? Firework night, is it?
Around that time, innit? Yeah.
There's a month ago.
Well, Thanksgiving is the 4th Thursday of the month of November here.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
Okay, well, that's how long it's taken, 6 weeks. Thought I'd order some tanks. I wanted to do a comparison between the budget tanks And I suppose I can sort of do that now because I've got them here. So I've got the Bellus and the Zephyrus from UD. I wanted to compare it to the Cryos because I love the Cryos. And I can honestly say they're pretty comparable. I mean, all of them. They're all pretty good. I mean, a little bit awkward with the wicking of it, much like the Goblin. Same wicking on all of them, really. Can be a bit fiddly to set up, but yeah, they're all vaping like champs. So I still think the Cryos is better, but these are reasonable. Yeah, that's it really. Just wanted to say they're pretty good. They're flavoursome.
They look all right.
They are. They're all right. I mean, the Zephyrus is it can be a little bit. It can wick a bit slowly. It's got this sort of top cap that goes down onto the wicks. It's got 4 channels like the Goblin. The way I've got around that is to not screw it right in so it's opened up a bit.
Yeah. And
that's helped the wicking. It's all right now. I mean, I'm running out at 50 watts, and that's keeping up. The Bellus, much the same. The only thing I say is a bit crap about it is the airflow control. It just it's shit.
Sorry.
It just goes around. Look, there's nothing to it. You just sneeze and it will turn around.
Yeah, but it's diffused.
Huh?
It's so diffused.
Diffused.
Yeah, there's lots of little holes, right? Lots of little tiny holes.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, which just dump into one big hole, whatever.
Do fuck up.
Yeah, it does fuck all. Yeah.
It makes it look pretty.
There's enough there. There's enough airflow. I think I'm running out of 40 watts, and that's keeping up as well. But I've almost, between the two, I'd probably say the Bellus is a better vape than the Zephyrus. But
Oh, there you go. I mean, is the airflow similar on all of them?
I can't actually think how it works now.
Suck it. Find out.
Suck it.
So, yeah, just quickly, just a couple of things. I'll just show you dead quick then. I've got you lot are all just going to go. That's just Craig at his garish best, but I've got one of these on the way. There you go.
What? That one of those old Tony record players.
Yeah.
Wait, is that made by the Health and Safety Board?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's kind of like you need cones to put around it. But yeah, I ordered one of those, and I ordered a Nixon as well, and a couple of other bits. And then just on the topic of Daniel, just quickly, I found you the wood that he's got. Right, that's the first one. It's Palmina wood. And
Fuck.
And then he's using that Raffia.
That's what I saw.
So that's plant fiber Raffia then, yeah?
No, that's still the aluminium stuff.
Is it? Okay.
Is it? I didn't know. I thought that was resin. That's what he offered me one of these, and I said,
Well,
I'm
no,
off.
resin.
There's a fancy term for resin. It is resin, but it's resin with aluminum or plant fibers.
Yeah, so you kind
Still
of
an
get
acrylic.
that's good.
Oh, that's nice. Like the blue one.
That one. So, and the black.
Oh,
Hey.
Good looking.
So they're very, very pretty. But it's the same stuff the Black Roses are made out of, the ones before the Evo. So
They'll mill up really nice as well. They will.
yeah, could be quite good. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got really.
Very nice.
fair enough. So after having a good old suck, Rick, any difference, mate?
Hey, to be honest, they both vape exactly the same. I'd say there's a little bit more air on the Zephyrus. But flavour-wise, and there's enough air on both. I mean, there's lots of air on both of them. So,
Is that a V1 or a V2?
Yeah. Is that one that comes in one of these cases?
Oh right, yeah, no idea.
Yeah, you know. Because I know, mate, they're just cheap as half price on GearBest and Black Friday. So
yeah, because there's a Zephyrus V2's coming out, and there's a Cthulhu V2 coming out as well.
right. I mean, I think probably looking at both of them, I'd probably prefer the Zephyrus, to be honest, because that air control's just annoying me. And if I really wanted to, I could actually grind out the bottom of that cap that goes over the top there and make nice, even more gap for the wicking. So.
So just before I let you carry on, because I'm kind of interrupting everything that you're doing, and your whole flow's gone now. I'd just like to say thanks very much to Sean and Angsty for their recent award that they gave to us. on the plumes of the best Plumes of Hazard rip-off, I think was the title. So
The best one. It's the best.
And there's a lot, man. You guys are the top of that game.
Yeah.
Do we get an award or some sort of sticker to put on our website or anything?
No plaque.
I get a Stig Helix box.
No. Only the best not Plumes ripoff gets that.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. That's me.
Well, we appreciate that award, the accolade.
Yeah, it's upped things for me. It's now we've got that award. That's kind of increased popularity quite substantially.
It's all downhill from here, Dino.
Oh yeah, it is.
Downhill for a while.
But no, what else is going on? I've got something else I want to point out. If you're a tugboat lover, which tugboats are one of those RDAs that I've never quite understood. I've got a tugboat. I missed the V1. I got a V2 at Vape Jam at the start of the year, and got it home and realised it was an IGO W, and didn't really get it. But the different caps kind of worked out well for me, so that was all right for a short while until I just had one of the posts it just constantly, even without too much aggro, would slice through wire, and it frustrated me. So about 2 weeks later, I sold it. But I did get a V2, so I could put a squonk pin in it, and with a comp cap, I'm quite enjoying it. Now, they've got a V3, which is very exciting. Rick, have you got those picatures, my friend? Just in case anyone's
They're
not
very
seen
small,
them.
but
Oh, wow, look. You can't zoom in on that, no?
no, it's too low.
No. Well, you might be able to see that at the top of that, we've... All right.
Go on then, go back.
There looks as though there's a top airflow going on, as well as potentially a side airflow as well. If you click onto the next picture, Rico, we're looking at 2-post rather than the normal sort of 3-post, which is looking interesting. Where there's cutouts in the deck, if you like, in the little sidewall around the deck, which I imagine is what they're using as an airflow control. And I think, is there one more picture, Rick? There you go. Not really very much, but they've got in that top cap or the top of the barrel that's laying on its side. You might just be able to see that there's 2 holes.
Oh yeah.
At kind of 4 o'clock, and there's 2 holes on the other side that you can't really see as well. So it looks as though the top airflow slots in the very top cap are feeding those 2 holes that go down to the barrel. And I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to getting hold of one.
How are you getting on with top airflow? Do you think it's better or an advantage to it?
One of the things for me was that I loved the Aeolus V1. I thought the airflow was smooth. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous vape, and it did wonders for me. And things like the support is a cracking little atomizer. But I think what does have to be done is that there is something that you have to figure out when it comes to the airflow, because if it comes in and then you expect it to go down, then there's got to be some kind of
channels
going in and then fucking like that. So I don't really know how that works out, but I saw that someone's got a tank out now coming out, which also does the similar sort of thing on the coil. The air comes down, it skims over the top, and then it fucks up there out the chimney, which happened on a fucking, what was it called, like an Acme or something? It was this thing. I think this was like an Acme or something like that, and this was a hellish affair. Now the airflow would come in the top there, it would go down the side barrel, or the centre post that had the coil had the chimney that goes up, but it had a sort of a barrel that goes slightly outside it, so the air would go down and then it would come up under it, skim across the top of the vertical coil, and then fuck off again.
Is that made by Council of Vapor?
No, this is
No, it's not cyclone airflow. It can't be.
But no, this was something that you couldn't really kind of push up with any kind of wattage, because obviously the coils are going to get hot. At the end of the day, airflow cools the coils to some degree, and if you haven't got the airflow on the coil, then you're just going to get fucking warm and concentrate that heat in the wicket.
So I like how somebody in chat said Americans with your airflow. I would just like to correct that of the Americans in this room and of all the people in this room, we're probably the tightest airflow out of everybody in this room, the Americans. Just want to point that out.
Yeah,
very well maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we did have some of the other guys, then it tightens up quite a lot. But no, I mean, I thought that the V3 tugboat was interesting. I haven't seen anyone review it yet. I think they've literally they've just sort of kind of offered it out to distribution. So I'm interested to see what happens, and I'll probably end up buying one just to give it a run through.
I mean, the only one I've ever had for top airflow is that one we both got the other week, which was that Torque RDA.
Oh yeah.
But I can see there's an advantage to having top airflow if you're squonking, because it doesn't drip out so easily, does it? But
no, and that was the thing with the Aeolus. The Aeolus was superb because, unlike some of them, and I think the Support does it, where potentially you can have, if you lay that on its side, juice can still come out the top hole.
Yeah.
Whereas the Aeolus, because it had 3 holes actually in the top cap, you'd have to have quite a considerable amount of juice in there for it to start leaking.
Yeah.
So that had a real useful kind of benefit in that respect, but for some of the others, not so much. And are they effective? Well, I've gone up to big wattage in the Support, and it's worked. So I don't really understand it. It's cleverer people than me have figured out why it works, but it just does.
There is, I mean, the other one is that thing there. I don't know if that'll focus at all or not, which was the aeronaut. That's where the air comes in through that little tube.
Yeah.
And that one worked pretty well. And the Kennedy, the Demon cap that came out for the Kennedy, that one worked quite well as well. But I'm with you, I think the Aeolus V1 was just brilliant, and every single one of them has been shy. But,
yeah. It was interesting to see on Plumes on Monday that they've got there's an Aeolus V3 now, but I just
It's the Aeolus Light.
There we go.
I've got the link here handy. I can put it in side chat for people.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, when you were mentioning tugboats, one of the guys down at Jack's earlier today had picked one up in a deal. I think they're like 25 quid if you hunt around at the moment. And the draw is exactly the same as the Origin Dripper V3. It's exact. So if you kind of like the Origin at full bore, go and get a tugboat V1 and have a play with it, because you'll be amazed at how close it is to an Origin.
Yeah. It's just the deck is just dull, isn't it? It's not exciting on the older ones, but yeah. So that was something that I wanted to just bring up, because I think it's going to be interesting. The Aeolus, I don't know whether I'm going to bother buying one or not after the disappointment I had with the V2, but we'll see about that. I just realised how vapey I've made it in here.
You are quite foggy at the bow.
Has anyone else, before I go on to Cloudmaker stuff, has anyone else got anything that they would like to bring out?
I'm not getting in the way of the Cloudmaker stuff.
No, I might go take a nap though.
It won't take long to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be very long.
Buddy.
Do I?
Said all you. I'm just going to kick back and let you do your thing.
Well, this is something that well, it happened yesterday. I'm just trying to find the how's your fella. As we know, Cloudmaker have been promising movement on things for quite some time. Originally, well, if it's going to be around a long time ago, but I'm one of the ones that ordered it on the 3rd of July, back in the
July, fucking hell.
Wanker. So yeah, I hope they've done well with that money. So yeah, $200. Thank you very much. I don't need to see anything for it. But yeah, obviously, as we know, it's always a couple of weeks. It's a couple of weeks. Things got to be moving back. Things got to be moving back. There is a massive level of production. We showed on here a few weeks ago about the all of the casings that were all ready that had to then go through anodization, and they expected to get them out like 4 days later or something. We talked about it. I think we touched on it last week that things were in customs, and was it last week or even the week before that things were in customs and weren't really making any movement, and they didn't really understand where it was. So that was interesting. They didn't really know where they were in China. And so yesterday, you can imagine my pleasure when a chap on a CloudMaker forum that isn't run by CloudMaker on Facebook posted up his confirmation, and it's from CloudMaker, and it says, "Thank you for your order for CloudMaker Tech from the CloudMaker Tech website. We wanted to let you know your order number blah 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 was shipped via USPS priority mail on the 12th, which is December 29th, 2015. You can track your package at any time, blah blah blah." So the whole world went yay. However, if you looked on the Reddit site, is that what they call it? The Reddits? Is that what it is? Then you would know that what they were doing is they were preempting the shipment, and so they could get stuff out sharpish. So the idea was it would come in and they'd turn it around and it'd go straight back out again. I'm still very confused at this point why the fuck they're not just shipping them from China. Especially considering how late everything is, but there we go. So anyway, this happened yesterday, and it was kind of like, well, it might be some movement, it might be positive, so whoop-de-doo. And then literally a few hours later, same day, possibly 6 hours later, something like that, there they were on Reddit again, and emailing people out, I think, but they're on Reddit again, and one of the quotes they've got: "For everyone who's waiting, we thank you again for your patience. Our current best estimate for when we will receive the initial pre-order shipment of the devices has been shifted to sometime next week. And once we've got more information, we'll ship it." Hey?
Just a few more days, Dean.
Just a few more days. Hashtag couple of weeks.
Still waiting.
I'm going to keep that.
Here's the thing, though. I will say this: if they've prepaid for all these shipments, most shipments only last about 30 to 45 days. If you're lucky, you can get them extended to 30 to 45 days. So it should be within the next 30 to 45 days that they go out.
Someone did mention on Reddit that they thought that the pre-shipment information and tracking number would only last for like a matter of days rather than tens of days, you know. But I don't know.
The pre-shipments like that can last for 30 to 45 days. I've seen.
Cool.
It should be within that, but again, this is the Kickstarter conundrum, right?
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever used Kickstarter.
Yeah. Now the challenge with all of this, though, still, and this is what gets me, is the fact that they say that, and so as soon as they put that post up on Reddit, me being technically whizzy these days, I found it and was able to put a reply on and said, "So are they in the US or are they still in China?" And the answer is they're somewhere in between.
Yeah.
So
lost at sea.
Yeah.
Are they coming on a slow boat, or are they actually getting sent by a decent courier firm?
Fuck knows.
Because DHL's super quick.
Yeah.
Still going to have to.
We're at like 3 weeks in shipping. So.
Yeah, I mean the problem is they stuck the fucking lipos in before they stuck them out to China. So they were going to do. You know what China's like? If it's got a knife in it, anything sharp, if it's got a battery in it, China immediately go whoa the fuck down, and that was it. Just get the lipos from over in the States, get the boxes, stick the fucking lipos in, and then ship them. They would have been gone out the door before Christmas.
I don't know. I've been messing about with lipos the last couple of days, Craig, and
I've seen, yeah.
well, yeah, you saw. Well, I mean, those lipos that I messed about, just to put anyone's mind at rest, they can hold their charge for a hell of a long time. Those lipo cells that I made packs out of yesterday, I haven't touched them for about a year. And when I stuck them in there, they were sitting. I hadn't touched them before. They were sitting at about 3.5 to 4 volts after a year of sitting on the shelf.
What the hell happened to yours, Craig? What did you get? You got a E square or something, was it?
I got the E-Fusion, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it was slightly low on the charge, but it's recovered fine. I had to put it in like the recovery mode, the advanced stuff under eScribe, but it worked all right. The only other thing that I had to do with that was I had to get a profile from Nick at Evolve. He put up a profile for the E-Fusion because it didn't come with one built onto it, but that problem's been that's an old thing. That doesn't really happen that much, but I just don't think don't put lipos in things. Everybody knows that they have trouble shipping them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a guarantee that it was always going to be trouble shipping them, and they should know that shit.
The thing that does me on it is the fact that they had hell and all trouble getting them out of China. But I imagine, being the current way the world is, that once they get into US customs, a little bit of paper from China saying, yeah, they're fine, I don't think that's going to be enough. So, I mean, Angsty and Sean, you might be able to kind of tell us more about this, but American customs, are they likely to hold on to things for a while?
Depends on if it went to Chicago or New York.
Yeah, if it goes to Chicago, you're fucked.
Yeah, New York's okay. Chicago, those bunch of dickholes will hold it for a week or 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not joking. I mean, like just regular folks sending stuff over, priority from the UK, or even me sending things over there. I've had it sit there for quite some time. In fact, I sent a 0 to Chris Munn in France, and it sat in Chicago for a month.
I've had stuff sitting in Chicago waiting to come over. It seems to be Chicago that can be a pain with USPS.
Chicago is rough with customs.
Yeah.
But, and because we've never said it here, but we've said it many times prior, this is why pre-orders are bad.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what you open yourself up for when you do a pre-order, especially a pre-order like that, where you're talking about new tech. They don't know if it's going to work. A new board came out in the middle of it, and they adapted to that board. I mean, Kickstarter stuff, you get it a year after it's been promised, and it's irrelevant at that point.
Yeah.
And also from a company that's got no proven track record.
Yeah. I urge anyone who watches this, if you're going to pre-order something, make sure it's expendable money, and don't actually expect to get anything.
Yeah. And that's the rule for Kickstarter, right?
Yeah. Don't expect to get anything.
Investing in a company, right? That's what Kickstarter's rules are. Is you admit when you put that money in there, there's no guarantee you ever get anything, much less on a timely manner. So, who knows?
Okay. It just seems horrifically planned from start to finish.
Well, yeah.
Generally, if you're going to do a Kickstarter, you're going to do. There was an interesting Kickstarter. Did you see that big square kind of oblong box with a hybrid kind of square kind of pyramid-like top on it? I'm going to try and find it up next time. That was a Kickstarter project for a lipo-powered hybrid cubey oblongy thing.
Companies with Kickstarters and prepaid.
What Angsty's got there?
Yeah. I kickstarted the Pebble, which is one of the first few true smartwatches that came out, and this thing was like a year late.
Nope.
Straight up a year, something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but the problem is they put this thing up that they were passionate about or whatever. It sold 10 times what or 100 times what they're expecting to sell, and they had a scaling problem, right? They couldn't sort out how to get that many done. That was actually too many of them. So they had other problems, to get sorted out. It happens.
What happened was I did not kickstart the Pebble. And 2 weeks after I think Brian got his, I went to Best Buy and bought one.
Yep.
Because that's what you can do in this type of situation.
Yeah.
The only difference
mine was like $10 cheaper because it was Kickstarter.
$10 cheaper, and it's engraved and says Kickstarter edition.
Yeah. Kickstarter edition on the back. Yep.
But it's one of those things. It's legitimately, you're talking about crowdsourcing the ability to make something that you don't even know that it's going to work.
Yeah.
The problem with it in vaping is a lot of people don't know how this stuff works. They think they're pre-ordering something that's already in development. There's a lot of promises. It's going to be done here. It's going to be done there. Blah, blah, blah. So with a lot of the pre-order stuff that happens in vaping, people look at it differently because they're not used to that market kind of style. and they end up getting into the cloud maker situation.
Yeah.
It's just all the risk on the person who's pre-buying, isn't it? I mean, it's the company. It's fantastic for them because they haven't paid any money. All of it is put up by the buyers, so they've got it already. So the risk is all on you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that worries me though is the idea that these guys are they're providing something allegedly future-proof in inverted commas. However, it's taken this long to come to market with the first product. They've had to. I imagine they're going to have issues with the V2 version of the Yeehee chip, so they're going to have to come up with another one, another kind of mounting board for it. I don't know what's gone on with the Aries chip. I think that's gone by the by for the time being. But if it takes them this long to get the product that they've allegedly kind of had sussed for quite some time, how can it be future-proof or how can you believe it's going to be future-proof if they can't bring shit together enough to be able to, provide a solid quality product in the first place?
I said that to somebody last night. I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I said, it's future-proof. I said, well, what's future-proof about it? They can make Mast. They can make another adapter for a board, right? Okay, so they make another adapter for a board. How long is it going to take them? Is it going to take them 6 months to a year? Is the board already going to be irrelevant by the time the adapter's made? Do you really need another adapter to a board, especially with mod prices going way down now compared to when they launched?
The other day, actually, Mast said something really interesting the other day, which was every single board that's coming out just keeps getting a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. Who's to say that any of these new ones are going to fit in the fucking thing anyway?
Yeah, I mean, and that's an issue. I'm not muted. Good. They basically. They're gonna.
It's the Ideal Plume Show.
It just went to shit. Brown delegation just arrived. But no, the board, for them to be pushing up that high, they're getting bigger. They need the real estate on the board to be able to do this. So, I don't know. I think 2016 though, I'm thinking it's going to be, let's try to get the boards back down to a reasonable size. Yep. So, because I don't care which way you shape it. I honestly think that this reference mod that Evolve did is about as small as you're going to get size-wise for a DNA 200 board, and it's a good size, and you're going to need the length, but
well, they did this thing that's future-proof, right? So they say that they're making a future-proof mod. You know what future-proof says to me? Huge. I've seen this mod in a large person's hands. It's gigantic.
Yep.
Because they have to make it that way to put in other stuff. Screw it. I'll go spend $100 on the next Vapor Shark, which is a quarter of the size.
Well, and the fact of the matter is though, that they're just going to have to, because it's taken so long, they're going to have to push it as something different now. They're going to say, oh, well, you can put a DNA 200 in it, or you can put an SX chip in it, or you can do all that. But by now, people are going to have a DNA 200 mod and an SX 350 mod.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're running out of things to advertise this thing as. So.
Yai high for life.
Yai high for life. Yeah, just I was listening. I've been watching the show, and just say no to pre-orders. Just say no.
Yep.
Definitely, no.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of butthurt people out there about it, but.
Mast, you should make like a Smokey the Bear type advert where it says only you can stop pre-orders.
That's a good idea.
Pre-order patrol.
This is going to show that the Plumes can't not be all together. We're just like.
I didn't even get an invitation. I knew this shit was going on.
Oh.
We just assumed you'd be doing something really exciting, Foo.
Yeah. All the ladies.
As the hippest one out of the group, we figured you'd be out giving it some beans on a pre-New Year party, you see.
Aye.
Fire up the Foo juice now the man's in here.
There you go.
Oh yeah, dude, I got that shit in my Aura Genny all day.
Hey, Rick, or not Rick, Dean says you're running the thing tonight. How about that hour, huh?
Yeah, we've done well then.
We barely cracked into it, man.
I know, I feel kind of bad saying, right, we're all done, see ya.
All right, cons, block.
Can I touch it? Mast is a modder over there, aren't you,
Can
Mast?
you touch Masty? It's a bit
I
rude.
bet you can.
Later, Boo.
What have you seen happening this year that's
Cons,
exciting?
squats, punk bitches, marks, mark-ass tricks, trick-ass marks. Happy New Year. Peace out.
Happy New Year, baby.
Say what now?
Is he off? He's gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's gone.
fool.
What's up?
Let's fill this up. Oh, I'll have a tribute.
Rob, what are we talking about?
Touch Masty. Go.
Yeah, I was going to say about what we've seen happen in a year of modding, and I just think there's a lot of stuff's happened in a year, and I wonder what your thoughts are on that. I mean, from the older days, the golden days of modding with your, before MOSFETs even, it's only been a year and a half, 2 years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's your standout thing that's happened this year in modding?
Well, a few of the things, and this is interesting, so we didn't talk about it on the show, but everybody owns a CNC machine now. Everyone is a machinist. Everyone is, thinking that they can get into, machining all these mods out of stabilized wood, all this other stuff. If you can do it, you can do it for a good price. You're going to be in a good place. Just because, somebody else is selling a $500 mod that's, stabilized wood or whatever it is, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to. I think that a lot of the interior of mods has gone by the wayside. So you have a beautiful looking mod on the outside, but now you can't take the thing apart to replace the lipo. If it's got lipo in it, it might be a great looking mod. It might be $1,000, but I mean, you have to be able to replace it if you want, something that's not going to be a shelf queen. I really think PWM mods, did start taking off this year. Into next year, people wanted the ability to be able to control, starting out with a potentiometer, and then now they even have ones that they're building boards to be able to do it electronically.
Yeah.
And but I think. I don't want to say that that's the level that we're going to get to, but I think with the DNA 200 and the SX board, limitation's always going to be your 2 batteries, right? So you can go smaller by doing a lipo. You could never get this kind of power with 3 18650s and something this small. And so I think maybe next year, modding-wise, you're gonna be seeing more exotic cases, right? So more woods, more synthetics, because that's kind of like where money is going to now. People are, they might see this mod, and again, those wood blocks, I've seen them, they're $75, $80, so you screw one up, it's not like you're out a $11, $12 Hammond box. I see the possibility of more DIY kits for people, whether they're using the 350 board or the DNA 200 board, which is kind of neat. Something that you could buy. I know that like the Renegade mod from Veritube, that was kind of cool to be able to buy everything at one place and get it set up. I know Nigel did an awesome job on in that. Yep. And
modmaker.co.uk.
Yeah. And
you can also buy code juice there if we're
that's
throwing.
the only mod I've made for someone else, just about.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I really, I'm glad to see people trying things on their own, DIY stuff, right? So, man, because there's a lot of influx from China. There's a lot of where you weigh yourself and you say, well, am I going to sit here and make these mods with this board in it when someone can go and spend $150 or even $100 and buy a DNA 200? And now you're starting to see, well, paying $120, $130 for a DNA 200, like a Rouleau or something like that, might not necessarily be better than buying a mod that a modder has actually made, because they start having reliability issues with the 510, issues with the wiring.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've spoken with people at Evolve, and man, they get questions every day for all kinds of Chinese mods that have DNA 200s in them that everything just falls apart. Wiring or just from usage. So I don't know. I'm hoping that that it continues, that people don't get discouraged, because that's how we get new things in the modding world, and we go away from vaping from cell phones and all that other weird shit that we've seen this year. So
just very quickly then, just on this hot topic, and Sean, I'll let Sean do his little thing because somebody's asked him a question just. But predictions for 2016. What we did it last year, and there were various ones. I remember at one point it was the rise of the 26650, wasn't it, Mast?
Yep.
I remember that one from a while ago, and so what's everybody's predictions for 2016? But Sean, you've got your question first.
Call us out.
No, it's what I want to see. I want to see more tiny little pocket-friendly mods. And I think we're moving into, like we did the 26650, and we still do those, but we're really moving into small, compact, pocket-friendly mods. Yeah. And I want to see more small, compact, pocket-friendly mods.
How about a small, compact 26650? Oh,
yeah. I got one of
a tiny one here as well. Fantastic.
We did have a few of them in 2015. We had the E-square stuff. We had the. Oh, you're talking about expensive shit, right?
No, that is not expensive.
Like the iStick 40 watt.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great one. But oh yeah, I'm back, by the way. I want to share one of my last whoops of 2015 with everybody.
I want to ask a quick question to both Rick and Mast. Do you think technology is going to change at all for the new? Because it's very easy for us to get concentrated on the DNA thousands or whatever else. But do you think there's going to be anything else that's going to develop to allow new users not to burn their coils or not to do bits and bobs without being overly technical?
I don't think there is going to be. I think, personally, I think temperature control is going to burn out in the end.
Hey!
I really don't. I'm sorry to say it, but I've got DNA, I've got SX. I don't use temperature control. It just confused the market in a big way. All these different types of wire. Camphor does the job. Nothing does it any differently. It's only wire heating up and burning, and vaporizing juice. So I don't know. I don't think temperature control as it is going to stop you from burning anything particularly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that because, and to a certain point, I think there is a lot of confusion with all the different kinds of wire. And then even on the Canthal side, you have all these different material of wires that are there. I think it's great for the tinker, for the hobbyist that wants to go in. This is something that I mentioned, with eScribe, you can go in and mess around with that. And now with Yeehee's software, you can go in and set all kinds of stuff, and that's great. Is the regular person that's vaping and day in, day out going to do that? Probably not. They might do it on presets, which is nice. I think that there will be new technology in the battery saving or basically extending battery life side of things. I don't know if it'll necessarily be at a board that you can hit 200 watts with, but I'm not talking about battery side. Battery side, that's just going downhill, as we've seen lately with eFest and everybody else. But I think that that the confusion that the temperature limiting thing has come out with, it's not so much because of technology, it's because of all the other bullshit that everybody's trying to throw at it, right? Oh, you use nickel. No, use stainless. No, well, we're gonna get this wire that's used to make jewelry with and set this up and do this and man, it's so much stuff that I think it turns people away. Not only that, but if we had one wire, you could say we've had a whole year of testing one wire, so we know that in a year these are our results. But we don't. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 different wires that people are using and testing
wires and branding their own wires.
Yep. Yep, people making their own wire and branding it, and you know, so there's quite a bit of a flood into the market with that.
I mean,
But
just on that, just on that, Mast, just a quick one. I mean, you've only got to go and look on Steam Engine, and we know what we're doing with these, you know, with this kind of wire. You're sitting there and you're looking down the millions of wire types just for somebody who's got some experience, and it frightens me.
Well, and now, I mean, I hate to say this, but I see it all the time. You go into a shop and you have a regular, you know, straight up, you know, 7, 8 wound up, you know, Canthal around 3 mil, you know, something super simple. Maybe you have dual coils, and they look at you funny. They're like, why don't you have the, you know, clove hoop snaps, you know, zippered, you know, super glued Triton
Steve McQueen coil, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, don't, you know, I absolutely, when I got my my Clapton setup, man, flavor was great, and I still use it in my Velocity. But you know, man, it you know, the regular user, I'm just trying to think back to if you're starting now. A new user, holy shit! I mean, it's like they ask a question, and here comes the just truckloads of just shit that's going to come down of coils and and you know.
A regular user needs simple shit.
Well, this is what I was thinking.
I'm going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
I just watched Phil's video about this, and Phil went through a bullet point of about 100 things that we consider normal terms in vaping that would scare the crap out of anybody.
There seems to be a massive gap now, doesn't there? There's a big gap between users and experienced users where, you know, when we first started, you'd buy Camphor. That's all there was, and you'd learn to coil it. Now you've got to buy
developing for new users for a long time. But recently, we've just come into, like, and that's why I say this device, and I think Dean has one too.
Yeah.
14 watts, not adjustable. Top fill. You don't have to close anything off. No adjustable airflow. Kind of hits like a cigarette. Yeah. Very simple, very easy to use, very no frills. Take off the top, fill it up, let it sit for 5 minutes, press the button, vape. When the battery's red, put it on the charger.
I hope to see more of the technology like what's in the Joule.
Yes.
Maybe with a little bit more capacity, but it needs to be, I mean, that is simple, man. You just pull the cartridge out, put the new one on, maybe different, you know, nicotine levels that you can choose to lower, because I honestly think you could use the device for a good year and start up at the regular nicotine level and work your way down if that's what you want to do. If not, stay up that high. But I can't see anything as foolproof as that. Now, again, the production is okay, battery life is okay, but you know, something like that.
Close. This is pretty foolproof if you want to use juice.
Yeah.
I would like to see the Joule come in differing nicotine strengths.
Right. Yeah.
Because I would take a Joule out with me if I didn't have to get it where it was fucking 54 milligram.
Yeah.
I would take the thing out with me if I could get it at like 12 milligram.
Not only that, but also, you know, allow you to refill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the
that's
thing
why
the thing with this though is the flavour is absolutely
Oh.
I think this Endura is the best flavour I've had from a starter kind of.
Hands down.
Yeah, without
Hands
and it's
down.
In fact, I got sent with the Unikin stuff. I got their sub G tank thing, and this I think is comparable, if not better, flavour than the G sub bollocks thing. Which is bonkers for a starter setup. If you remember when you're having your kind of going back to your iClear 30 coils and all that sort of stuff, and before, it was horseshit. You know, you couldn't taste stuff. But something like this, what I would like to see is something like this where you would know if you were out of juice. And whilst that sounds fairly obvious to everybody that vapes currently, to a new starter, I know plenty of people that will have a Nautilus, including my wife. She would vape a burnt coil without realising it, thinking, well, this doesn't taste very nice, but carry on doing it because it's vaping.
I had someone the other day that said they only replace their coil once a month, and I'm like, yeah, I think they.
Guys, I gotta run. I'll catch you all later. It was a pleasure.
Nice.
Cheers,
Cheers, fella.
I would when we talk about 2016, though, I would really like to see at least some return to gear for smokers who are trying to make the transition.
Yeah.
I love the hobbyist side, and I will forever exist in the hobbyist side of vaping. But I would love to see us return at least a little bit with what's coming out to some stuff that's made for people who are trying to quit smoking.
Absolutely true.
I think a lot of people. Sorry, go on. I think there is more available now for the starter. Like you said, the ice stick. Give a starter an ice stick that's USB chargeable and a sub tank, and I think they've got a reasonably good setup to kick off.
I don't necessarily agree fully with the sub tank.
The problem is all the sub tanks that have come out this last year, and I've been vaping for a really long time. But where I am in vaping, what I vape, all of the new sub tanks would have not got me to quit smoking.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it. That direct lung way open thing would have not flown for me. If it hadn't been for the K-Fun, if it hadn't been for the K-Fun, I would have been back on the cigarettes pretty quick. I was getting bored with vaping the Pro Tanks and the Gurglies and the whatever way back in the day, and the K-Fun saved me. Without the K-Fun, I would probably be back in a bad habit.
It's probably got to be the most popular tank ever so far.
We asked that question not long ago. Where I think we asked in the group, what is in the last year has there been a tank which has managed to fulfil all of the things that the K-Fun did, but for a budget vapor? And the answer was no.
Yeah.
No.
It's still missing. The market's still missing. Just that little tiny, little tight draw, well made, nicely done. Something you can throw a rebuildable coil in, or a pre-built coil in if you can't be arsed. There are so few of them out there because they're all gobs of air. You know, they're not the best maintained thing. The coils are all hard to find. And if there was one thing, one thing that I'd like to see happen, please just use a standardized fucking coil. Just once. Because the number of times that, we'll sit in a cafe today and I was chatting with Blake and Marco and we're going on about the fact that, I don't know what any of these tanks use in the way of pre-built coils like C16s or whatever the fuck they're called. I just don't know because I've been removed from that market a little bit. Now that's just because I've moved myself away from it. It's no other reason than that. But they get people coming in and saying, have you got a coil that fits this? And they're like, no, you need to go and see this shop. Then somebody will come in and show them something else and they go, you need to get those off eBay. Then it's almost like you've got to go in 17 different directions depending upon which way the wind blows.
Is it the Crown? One of those has, seriously, no joke, has 8 different kinds of coils. Is it the Crown? One of them. It's just, there's too many options.
Yeah, there's a bunch with different, there's one that's supposed to take all of them. But I laugh all the time, and I've talked to you about this, Craig. I became a high-end vapor due to sheer necessity. Because the only people who were making tight draw stuff and nice low watt mods that functioned accurately when I went into the high-end scene was the high-end scene. Yeah. Everything else was gobs of air and 100 to 200 watts. I ended up going high-end because that's what I could vape.
Yeah, and the thing about just on the high-end thing, you kind of have to. It's only once he gets past, let's say, $200 to $300. Once he gets past that point, yes, things get silly. But in general, you get what you pay for in vaping. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't, if you don't pay very much for it, you'll get something that's all right. It's getting better. It's getting a lot better. But it's only in the last 6 months that it's got anywhere near close. It's, for a long time, it was miles apart.
Miles.
Yeah, I would like to see a tank that works successfully with gobs of air, like your sub tanks and your all that sort. Well, not sub tank this shit, but a good tank that you can do that with, but you can also close it right down. You put a thin drip tip in it, different coil, and then you get your cigarette experience.
There's stuff like that, but the problem that I've found with anything like that is when you're trying to appeal to both markets, they end up being mediocre in both markets.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get well, I say you can get a half decent mediocre, but for a starter, I'm thinking to get from that tight draw, because I was speaking to someone the other day that wants to vape, that is vaping, but doesn't find it useful for them because they, like me, when I was smoking, I would smoke angry cigarettes and I have massive draws, and I used to love that feeling of your lungs filling up with smoke and just being tight with smoke. That was a feeling. It wasn't the throat hit, it wasn't the taste, it wasn't any of that. It was that kind of feeling in my lungs. And for me, having a lung hit was the only thing that really kind of fulfilled that. Having a mouth slug just never did that for me.
I think having that idea and knowing what to buy goes a long way, though, rather than having.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Having something that works reasonably well, and it's marketed as such, of having a super tight drawer with a drip tip. You get the tight drawer cigarette drip tip in the box, but at the same time you get the sort of normal size that we used to now.
Don't you think you can get that with a sub tank though? When you turn the airflow right down, you've got mouth to lung, haven't you? I mean,
the problem is though, is when you make a coil that's supposed to fire 30 to 60 watts and you put 10 watts to it or 15 watts to it, it doesn't function as well.
No, exactly.
You can turn it way down and get a tight airflow, but the coil doesn't function well.
Yeah.
You have to buy the coils that function well.
Yeah. So you need
talk about clouds, right? I was at my mom's for Christmas, and I'm not a cloud chucker by any means. What most people consider my clouds to be tiny. Most people consider my clouds to be tiny. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and my mom uses a Sigalike, and she just agreed to switch to an Anoken Endura. And she goes, well, one of the things I'm really excited about this Endura for, she goes, I'm excited about it because you have just this massive amount of vapor production, and I think that would be really nice. I said, this isn't a massive amount of vapor production. She goes, from what I'm used to, from the Sigalike thing, it's a lot.
I'll send you this over.
So, I mean, it's all perspective, right?
Fuck that, I'm coming over next Christmas. Make a table.
To someone, hey, you are welcome. You are welcome. But honestly, to someone who's quit with Sigalikes or tried to quit with Sigalikes, the Endura is a lot of vapor.
They only need 30 watts, and they're loving it, aren't they? You know.
Well,
I mean, my brother-in-law was giving up smoking, and I made him a little iStick 40-watt mod in a tiny little box like that, and gave him a sub tank, and he's happy as. Rather than getting the Sigalikes and then going back onto cigarettes. And
you want something that's inexpensive. It's just got a tight drawer, and it's rebuildable, or you can get pre-built coils for it. But I actually don't want the option of going for gobs of air. I want it just to do its one job very well.
The only tank that I've found this year that looks half decent and does the mouth to lung is that E-Leaf GS. Yeah, it looks kind of like a mini Goblin-ish kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a mouth with full air open. That is still a mouth to lung tank, and that I think is reasonable. Bearing in mind this using like the Nautilus coils, that is entirely reasonable for doing that job.
Well, I just tried the Cryostine. I've got the Cryos on now, and I've turned it down to just a dot of airflow, and it does the job just like you say, mouth to lung.
Yeah. Just one quick one while you're doing that, because I'm sure Dean wants to move on as well, which is Mark Todd just sent me a message saying, say hi to all the other weirdos for me and a Happy New Year. So,
Happy New Year, Mark.
It's Todd.
I love Todd so much, I added him back there.
Look at him, a lovely fella. We love Twark, don't we? Oh, let the batteries run out, but he's there.
I think the wraparound to that is that I would really like to see a little bit more focus in the new year to stuff for the smoker.
Yeah.
Because we need them. We need to convert more smokers. We need that market segment badly in advocacy, and we need that market segment in general because, for me, it's still about tobacco harm reduction. As much as I enjoy everything else, it's still tobacco harm reduction.
The thing is, it's not we need it, it's they need it. That's the thing.
They need it more than we do, that's for sure.
Yeah. And on that note, I think we've covered this shit out of that. I don't think there's much more we can probably sit here and talk about it for hours, but there needs to be better shit. Make better stuff. There you go.
Yeah, just make tighter stuff really well and make it cheap. That'll do.
You can still make your sub-ohm tanks. Just make the other stuff too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is it. I mean, that has been. We were going to be doing an hour. We've already done an hour and a half. We're officially fucking useless. But I am going to blame the Plumes purely because the other guys decided to come on, so it was rude to shut it down. But I think it's absolutely a worthwhile discussion. I hope everybody watching kind of got something from that and had a little bit of a thought process going on as well.
So Anna, by the way, before you wrap up, he asked about how I like the Axis mod. I don't have time to talk about it today, but I will be talking about it on Monday on Plumes.
What he wanted to know specifically was how is removing the lipo. He was wanting to know that specifically.
You're just trying to steal our subscribers.
I couldn't answer that for you anyway because I haven't taken it apart.
Our subscribers.
I just wanted you to say that. I just wanted you to say it.
Yeah, I can't help you with that anyway because I didn't take it apart. And you're right. You know, I'm going after the 5 subs that we don't have in common.
But okay, so you're going to cover that. If you're not a Plumes watcher, then
Don't watch 'em.
they are
Go
American.
watch them.
But you know, if you're in the UK, then you can stay up late and chat to lots of crazy Americans on the same home page that we're on right now because they're our parents. At the same time, obviously, you can catch up with them in the week on YouTube as well. So thank you very much, guys, for coming. Oh, one thing I did want to say, I mentioned last week I don't promote my channel, and I'm still not promoting my reviews, but my raffle, I've got a pre-Christmas raffle going on, and so far we've raised £525, which with gift aid, which comes from the taxation aspect of it, is £641 for an animal shelter, which is ridiculous. Yeah. That should be finishing this Sunday, I think it is. I don't know if you hear it. There's a load of fireworks going on. So,
same here.
But
so I will go out and say that if you have not watched the Vaping Biker on YouTube, you should. Easily, probably the 3rd best of 5 UK reviews.
Second.
That's only because Damien wasn't in the vote.
No. Damien's got to be there to defend himself. If he isn't there to defend himself, then. Sorry, Damien.
Anyway, thank you everybody for doing it. If you haven't contributed to the charity yet, just go and check out my video because it's an amazing charity, and we're trying to do as much as we can for them. But that does end on Sunday. So, but thank you very much for everyone that has contributed so far.
Yes, and Happy New Year to all of you, and thanks
Happy
very much
New Year
for everybody, everything you've done this year for me.
Absolutely.
Happy New
Publicly,
Year.
a big thank you to Brian and Sean, as well as the rest of the Plumes for everything they've done for allowing us to sit on the own page and all that.
Yeah.
The Plumes love the Halo
nice.
Craig turned into a
How you do one of these things?
Christ.
Is that how you do the heart? I don't know how you do the heart. Is that it?
I'll do the heart, but I do want to preface with that Craig's a diva.
Yeah, that's gone. Oh, mad.
I just want to say thank you for giving us the foundation to make a better show. So that's super. So
thanks, fellas.
Yeah,
I'm going back out again now. So Happy New Year.
But thanks everybody for coming on, and I love you guys. You're all awesome, and you lot watching, thank you very much for watching us and sticking with us for the shows that you have, and we hope to see you a lot more in the new year. But thank you everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Have a